Shut up and sit down.
All right, everybody, welcome back to episode 16 of Rebel Trading Group Podcast. Today's date is May 9th. I almost said May 9th, 2018. My name is Nathan Oliphant, and with me, as always, is the gluten-free Jason Bessing.
The gluten-free Jason Bessing. What is up?
How are we doing today?
Personally, I'm having a rough day. I had a tire blowout. We just talked about that. So, shaking that off. But other than that, doing well. Let's see how the markets did real quick, pulling up the numbers as we speak. Bitcoin is sitting at 9,244. She's a little sideways for the past 24 hours. Nothing exciting there. Market,
but she's holding. That's important that she's sideways.
Is holding.
She's holding at 9.
She does keep holding. She keeps ticking. And sideways, ticks up, sideways.
I bought $20 worth of Bitcoin on just under 9,000 today. So, we'll see where that goes.
Doing pretty well so far. Doing pretty well so far. Dow Jones gaining 182 points. Good old Blink 182. NASDAQ gaining 73. S&P gaining 25. About 1% move all across the board. A lot of flat sideways trading past few days. Everything's been meh.
Ready to go up.
Haven't you been bored lately?
Ready to go up.
It's ready. It's ready for something.
The sideliners won't get in until they see someone move it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Buffett's fucking trying, man. He tried to do us all a favor.
Apple. He put it on a billboard.
Buy Apple on whatever day that was. He basically said, yeah, buy Apple.
I was up like $4 that day.
That day alone.
Maybe it was at 4%. I don't know.
Whatever. But
either or is like a good number.
Always. Let's go ahead and head on over to market news with Nathan Oliphant.
Oh, what happened big? What happened big in the news today? Okay, one thing. I thought this is my own thing, but California legislator just passed a bill that said, this was today. This is like breaking news. They just passed a bill that said that solar panels have to go on every new house built in California. So for me, and then Jason brought up a good point as well, I think that's a good move in the energy sector, maybe like focusing on like solar energy. See, but I don't know how it's going to work. Like, is there going to be like certain contracts, or is it going to be like a utility thing? And then Jason brought up the point of like how many new houses are being sold, or what's that housing market, like new houses market.
I feel like California is the home of all bubbles. Crypto. I guess a marijuana bubble, if that's a thing. It's not really a bubble. But,
it's like the olive bubble of the 1400s, or the tulip bubble. You think marijuana is like the new tulips?
No.
You think cryptocurrency was a tulip? I think that was very tulipy.
It was a very tulipy thing. I don't know, but tulips, I guess, had value.
Yeah, that was like a futures thing.
Digital assets.
Yeah.
There's gonna be a time in like thousands of years where they're talking about like ancient Americans, like and we were like abandoning paper currency for crypto currency for the first time, and like that was like a pioneer to new industries, and I don't know, it's just weird. It's gonna be in textbooks someday.
Yeah.
I'll look back at all this and it's gonna be like ancient Americans. Can you imagine that? Or like when they talk about ancient Americans, they're meaning like 1776 to like.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just wild. I think it's weird that
you're going to be history.
We'll be generalized as that category, but I'm kind of digressing here. I every time I think of Bitcoin, I just think of like, is it a move further an advancement for humans or AI?
Do you think it's? What do you think?
I really don't know. I mean, the only way is for the rest of the world to get on board, and like you just have to get more people to switch, like come over to the dark side, and eventually it'll crash the financial systems.
Just go fucking just inflate everything. Is that what you're talking about?
But if there's enough faith in it, then the free market will make it work.
But eventually, someone's gonna. If all the free market collapses, someone's gonna have to take over Bitcoin. They're not just gonna. I feel like the Bitcoin. There's a congressional blockchain caucus in the United States Congress.
I wouldn't be surprised.
No, there is. Like, it's a legitimate thing. They have a website and everything. And what the blockchain caucus, the congressional blockchain caucus, does is they kind of move to protect cryptocurrencies in the blockchain with like legislation or co-sponsor or sponsor legislation that has to favor cryptocurrencies.
I think you just wanted to say cock on the air.
Caucus. Congressional Blockchain Caucus.
CBC.
Check them out on Google. I don't know.
Anyway, what else is going on? Anything exciting? Tell us more about Iran deal.
Ooh, next up on the list is the Iran deal. I don't know if it's like official. I guess it's official. He tweeted it, right?
I honestly don't know. I've been busy as balls the past few days, so I haven't got to read into it too much, but I know Trump doesn't agree with the Iran deal right now.
Yeah, it's not that he announced that he was backing out of it.
He doesn't want to completely abandon ties with Iran. He just wants to redo the deal. In which case, it'll be both beneficial to Iran and the U.S., if I'm not mistaken. Remember, Donald Trump, when he makes these deals, he's giving something back to them. He brings something sweet and juicy to that deal. But he's always going to put America first. America will always benefit just a little bit more in that deal.
I like it.
But you have any idea what's going on? He's just in talks of abandoning it, and then I imagine they're going to draft a renegotiation.
Maybe. I read in the news that Iran's beefing up their military, their ballistics missile department or whatever. So I guess that's a reaction. I don't know.
And it's about their nuclear weapons, correct?
I believe so. I'm not too knowledgeable about it. I'm so sorry.
No, it's okay. That's okay. Iran isn't, on top of our minds all the time. So, anything else going on?
Where didn't the previous party have like backdoor dealings with Iran?
Oh yeah, there was like planes that flew. I remember reading about planes that like flew billions of dollars in cash like overnight into Tehran. I've heard of all kinds of sketchy shit, dude. It's all about oil. That's all it is.
Yeah, the price of oil dropped today.
They have rich resources. It goes back hundreds and thousands and maybe even millions of years.
Dude, now's the time to buy oil.
On these resources, and for all of time, when you invade another civilization, it's to suck up their resources, whether it's people or their food or their women or their wheat. That's what it was years and years ago. And that's still the shit that goes on. Like there's still national interest across the globe in other countries' resources, and it's a repetition of history. So it's just been going on. Iran shit has moved markets since the 60s, 70s. I'm tired of fucking hearing about it, to be honest. Like, what is their problem?
Do you think it goes from administration to administration, or do you think it's party related?
I think it's party related.
Ooh.
Well, I don't know. I mean, that whole Middle East thing is just so complex.
Really?
When I feel like at the end of the day, we just should abandon all of it, let them figure it out, and we should have nothing to do with it. But like I said, they are rich in a very important commodity, and that is of national interest to us and our trade. So we kind of need to have some sort of deal with them, because I believe Iran is part of OPEC, the oil producers. I forgot what it stands for, but it's basically the collective oil producing countries, and they meet on committees and stuff to talk about how much oil they have and how much oil they are generating and how much oil they are expected to find, and regulations. And they'll also agree like, hey, we're going to dial down because we have an oversupply. And if you're a futures trader, OPEC is your biggest friend there, because every single thing they say is going to drive that market. We should just start playing oil. It's got volatility.
Dude, I'm on Investopedia right now. How to trade oil.
Oil futures, baby. I think you have to have like a $10,000 account to trade futures. So.
Yeah, we're almost there.
No. Not if I keep having tires blow out. So
just bite
anyway, anything else exciting going on in this environment?
Anything? Kind of just mergers, earnings.
Still a lot of just boring sideways movement. Like there's really nothing fun.
Yeah. We need to get this sell in May out of the way, and then we're just
there's that
fucking summer
adage that there's go away in May where there's lack of volatility and lack of upward price movement for the most part through the summer months. And it tends to be true. It's not exactly true, but for the most part, there's a lot of selling in May and there's a lot of buying in November. Especially, I know another big factor is midterm presidential elections are coming up.
2 years.
And the midterm election?
Yeah, not presidential. Midterm elections are coming up.
Midterm elections.
For the House of Representatives.
That. Midterm presidential. There's whatever. When does that start? Because I feel like they're going to start debating them soon. We get to start all over again. Maybe like end of year, kind of like mid next year.
When does what start? What do you want? The president?
Like the presidential debates and all that stuff start.
I'd suppose. I don't know how they do primaries. If I'm gonna be completely honest, I don't know how they do primaries on mid like on an already elected president. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Anyway,
but I suppose you would see like some ads around like shit
on the side of the road.
It's like June or July. That's like really early. I feel like. From like August and September, start seeing
brainwash them early, man. Anyway, that's about it. The midterm elections can kind of shake up the markets. There's a lot of unease and uncertainty because some states will be very desirable, others will be very desirable, depending on what states they are in, whether they're commodities producers or whatever, and how it's business. So there's a lot of shifting around that. So it'll be interesting to watch. And unless you're someone who pays attention to this stuff every single waking minute and watches politics and can play markets around it, don't try to time the market because it's not going to work. You're going to miss out if Donald Trump tweets something and there's already Wall Streeters investing into like the exact senators and what their agenda is going forward from that exact moment. Like from the moment they get elected, there's people tuned in. And I don't have the resources or time or drive to do that, to be honest. So
just sign up for updates on your phone, man.
Yeah, but I feel like after that, once you've already got that, it's too late.
Oh, Warren Buffett had his annual meeting.
Oh, yeah, that's always a big thing. The annual Buffett Palooza.
Yeah, he was saying if you put like $1,000 in 1940, right now you'd have like 51 million or something like that.
Yeah, every $10,000 from 1950 in the stock market, like I think it was just the Dow or the S&P.
It was the S&P.
If you own the S&P since 1950, every 10 grand turned into what was it? 50 million.
51 million, yeah.
It's ridiculous.
That's his like basic. That's his investing thesis. He says.
Get rich slowly.
Yeah, I sent you that picture today.
Yeah, Jim Cramer also has a book called Get Rich Carefully. And that's another way I like to look at it. Get rich carefully. Get rich slowly. Get rich carefully. So, not much else going on in the market world. Which brings us to today's topic, Nathan. Are you ready for it?
I'm ready for it.
Today, I want to talk about buying the dip.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
That's kind of sad.
Why?
I mean, buying the dip means something's doing bad.
Yeah, but why do we buy the dip?
To average my bitch ass out.
Because it's going to come back, bro. It's going to pop up. Be there. It's going to come back, man.
It's blackjack. Next turn. Next hand.
So you're owning a stock, and you entered it. You finally decided, you grew the balls to pull the trigger, and you say, hey, let's do the damn thing. So you buy it, and it just starts falling. 2, 3, 3.5%, 4% end of day, end of week. You're like, God, if I just waited 5 more days. Well, hopefully, as you're entering that position, you're entering in waves. I think we said that in like the second, third episode-ish. There's going back, whatever episode it was. We talked about entering in waves. So when you had done your initial buy-in, hopefully you still had some cash remaining on the side to increase your position along that downturn. But a lot of people can't grasp that concept, that when a stock price is falling is actually the time that you want to be buying. When there's sellers and there's fear, there's people exiting a position, that's actually the time that you want to be getting into that position. Because in theory, if you had done your research and the fundamentals are strong and the management of the company are strong, eventually the selling will stop and the buyers will push the price back up because all the sellers have decided to leave. And if you had purchased the dip along the way, you got to bring down your cost basis. So if you bought in at $10 and then it drops a few percent, so now your cost basis is $9.70 after you double down, and then you just kind of buy along the way. It's not an easy concept to grasp.
And if I'll say this, if and when the stock does go up, now you have 3 chips working for you instead of just 1.
Yeah, because you had bought it 3 times.
So once it goes past your original buy-in, now it's just fucking money because you bought in at the lower amount, and you've like basically almost if somehow you look at it, if you bought it like halfway, now you've doubled your profit if you made it up to your original buy-in and shit.
Mm-hmm.
And you're making that money on the way up.
When I buy into a stock, I hope it plummets. Like, I swear to God, I hope Ford plummets.
It's like $5.
I want to wake up one day, it's like $9.98 overnight.
$9.98. What if it went to $5?
Just gap down. I mean, I don't think it would sell off half its market cap. But I mean, over the course of like a year, I just sold off to like $5.50.
What the fuck? You would keep buying? Would you keep buying?
Oh, dude, I would buy. I would load up, bro. I would load up. I would go 25 plus years long, and I would load up. Selling options all along the way. Nathan, it would get disgusting.
We should load up on some JCPenney right now.
Okay, look at the 2008. I want to pull up a chart real quick. Let's look at the 2008 S&P 500 chart. When in 2008, we know what happened in the market, right?
Yeah.
So here, I got the chart that starts here. Sorry. The S&P dropped down. Oh, Jesus, man. At its lowest point, if I can pinpoint it exactly on the 10-year chart, its lowest point, 734.52. It currently sits at 2,697. So that's literally 2,000 points higher. That is a 400% gain in 10 years had you bought that dip.
Yeah, that's pretty nice.
I'm going to screenshot and send it to you. It's really like it's just disgusting, that chart. Now, granted, if you really want to be a bear here and you really want to be an asshole, yeah, you buy the dip and it goes up. And over this course of time, we were in a huge bull market. You know, the banks started to really help us out, quote unquote, help us out, and really boost the economy artificially. And that's what caused the bull market till the peak of 2018. So we don't know if we are ready to kind of slow down from that right now, or what. But we're still on the pullback from our peaks in January. So I feel like buying the dip now, if you haven't already done it, you're starting to lose out on time because we don't know what's going to happen over the next few months. Nobody does. Nobody has a crystal ball. But I feel like if you haven't bought the dip yet, you might still have some time out there. There's some things that are still dropping and still have some value. But yeah, that's what
I did with UDOW. Triple leveraged Dow Jones fund that I'm holding for a while. I bought it at right before the February dip this year, And I remember telling you, I said, I'm going to buy this. And I sold my UPro. I made like $30-40 on UPro share. And I said, I'm going to sell this and buy a triple leverage China fund and a triple leverage Dow Jones fund. Let's go. Something in that nature.
Yeah, that was something in the nature. That was probably like January 26th.
Yeah, and then you said something like, "It's like you think it's a good time to buy it," and I was like, "I never really think it's a bad time to buy like an index."
Yeah, it's never a bad time to buy an index fund, which in theory is correct. Like if you're an indexer, you want to ignore market timing anyway, so you're just adding on your position and you're not even checking it. So in theory, yeah, it's always okay to buy index, but I get what you're saying. Do you ever like struggle psychologically when you go to buy the dip?
Like if it's gonna keep going?
It's gonna keep going.
When I was playing with Bitcoin, yes, 100%.
I was just about to say
that motherfucker is moving.
Yeah, I was about to say it really depends on the underlying asset. You know, if Ford started to plummet, yeah, I'm okay with that. But if Host Hotels, one of my other favorites, started to plummet, I might pump the brakes a little harder than I would on Ford.
I wonder if we can like rig an alarm to like a Bitcoin exchange to like go off when like an excess, like we set a limit of like we set a trigger point of this much volume going off, and it just alert us, and then we just buy just like a patch of it.
In large volume areas.
Yeah, just catch the wave.
Dude, you can walk. You can. I mean, can't you do that if you're watching GDAX?
You can set alarms for price, like price alerts, like on Coinbase on your phone. But I don't think you can kind of watch the volume, and it kind of says like 24-hour volume on the top. So like you can.
But you don't see like hourly volume though, do you? Like on a candlestick chart with stocks.
Oh well, yeah, they have candlesticks. I see that. Yeah, and you can go to like the minute, I guess, but like there's no like alert. If you're looking at an
alert,
if you see like you're like a really askew 1 minute candlestick chart, then yeah, I would fucking put some buys in, I guess. I still have some sell orders. I'm sorry, we're getting so digressy.
No, it's okay. That's good. We don't really give crypto a lot of love.
We need to have the crypto episode.
We have to. And even if you are a stock person like me, like I like stocks, but I'll be honest, I like volatility. Yeah. I can start to trust. It looks like we can start to trust Bitcoin a little bit more as time is going on. It seems to be more acceptable. It seems to be growing still.
I don't get why you associate. I'm sorry, this is gonna be super.
No, go for it.
Why you associate accessibility of the cryptocurrency and price movement?
What do you mean?
Because price movement is purely determined by people who are buying and selling the actual.
And as the price keeps going up, then it's just people keep buying, which means running out. I mean, that's the theory. You keep running out of sellers.
Well, people still exchange the dollar.
Yeah. You know, I think there's a lot of people who are finding loopholes in tax code and stuff. I guarantee it. And they're just parking it there, and they're parking tons of cash there.
Dude, fucking Coinbase.
And they continue to do so.
Coinbase sent the name of I think it was 25 people or some odd number of people to the IRS.
Because they made so much money.
Or something, I don't know. God.
Could you imagine? Not me, man.
Yeah, not me either.
Dude, I saw a tweet from I think it was 2013. That said, dang, I should have kept my Bitcoin. It went from 13 cents to $4.
Yeah, right.
And it had that angry face emoji. And it was from 2013. I was like, oh, are you kidding me? It went from 13 cents to $4. That was Silk Road, baby. I remember when you told me about Silk Road, and I was like, I don't know what that is. And I looked it up, and it just blew my mind.
That's what people think about what Bitcoin is actually.
People were selling assassinations on that.
It was crazy, man.
You get whatever you wanted on there. You heroin delivered to you. That's funny.
But they had like that documentary on Netflix. I'm gonna believe the statistic or whatever they said. It's only like part of what Bitcoin is. Like that you can get heroin. You can get heroin assassinations with cold hard cash as well.
Yeah, you can. Bitcoin. To be honest, Bitcoin makes it easier. But I could PayPal it to you, or I could send it from my bank account to your bank account.
Yeah.
So what's the difference?
I think Bitcoin that's the point I'm trying to make. There really isn't a difference.
Except you just can't track it. Like you can't find out what it was used for, right?
I think there's like a way, like the way you buy it.
Like, don't we both have account numbers?
They'll track that to you, but like the way they buy it is like super secret. I don't know. Like you got to use like another like browser or something like that, like a custom browser.
Are you talking about for Silk Road?
Yeah, and then use a VPN.
Dude, yeah, you had to use Tor.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm talking about that. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about like Bitcoin though.
Okay.
Or is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I get what you're saying. Because the Bitcoin is sent through like private crazy servers and shit.
Yeah.
I get what you're saying. I'm not a tech guy at all, unfortunately. I'm just completely ignorant in that entire industry. So.
Yeah, you're buying the Bitcoin. You're not mining the Bitcoin.
Yeah. That was before. That was like before there was like an exchange for Bitcoin. So like you had to get it through like sketchy shit.
So
you literally had to like give people dollar bills for their Bitcoin.
My experience with Bitcoin and buying the dip is I started at 8 and bought all the way up. I bought at 10 and then I think around maybe 13 and 15 and then I bought some at 16. And then, I mean I don't have over $200 probably total. I did that all the way up just to average myself in as well because I'll have a lower price.
Mm-hmm.
At that point, and then it went
That's
down.
What you want to do. Yeah, it fucking crap.
Yeah, and I
bought in at 17. It was like 17.9.
I remember moving Bitcoin around. I think around like 13, and then just started going again to 12, and then 11, and then went back up to like 12, and then it went back down to like 9 and 8, and I was like, oh fuck. And 7 and 6, it had that 4,000 spree.
Dude, yeah, it was hard to watch. I didn't really care. I'll be honest. I was never really heavy in it. It's something I would like to trade, but I don't have the knowledge to do it. Also, I don't have the capital to do it.
If you had like a couple,
and I don't have the stomach to do.
Just to fucking throw away, would you throw it in Bitcoin?
An extra how much?
100K.
I mean, no. No matter how much money I have, I don't think I'd put 100K. I'd have to have like tens of millions of dollars. It would have to be a fucking like write-off for me somehow.
I'd put it all on black before I put it on Bitcoin. Is that what you do?
Yeah, I really would. Your odds would be better. I feel like your odds are better. You never know though. Like I keep a little bit in there because I know that there might be a day in 50 years where I'm sitting with my grandkids. Like, yeah, I had the chance to buy a Bitcoin in 2018.
It's going to be worth like $5,000. If it gets like huge, it's just going to be worth like $5,000 and you're going to give it to me like, yeah, buy your school books with them.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be nothing for me then, but I do keep a small bit in the pot because you never know. What if there are people saying like it's going to go $1 million end of the year. What if it did? Let's just say what if. That's like $7,500. My $75. I'll take it.
If we're going to 11 and 12 again, I'm probably going to, I don't know. Like I'm buying now if we go to 11 and 12.
You can look at those supply and demand walls on that depth chart too, and that helps you kind of trade.
That don't mean anything except for how many orders are there.
No, it means something. It means a bunch are being sold there.
That doesn't mean they're selling. I mean, it doesn't mean the orders are happening. Exactly.
Now that's how you use the
orders.
knowledge.
The orders are happening at the bottom of the bleachers.
Mm-hmm.
That's where it's moving.
Anyway, so I try to. I only think that you should really buy the dip, not necessarily on trades. That's how you kind of get really sucked into a single trade, and a trade shouldn't turn into a long-term hold. A long-term hold should be a long-term hold, and a trade should be a trade. So sometimes I would consider averaging down on trade, but for the most part, I would only average down on my core holdings. When my favorite stocks that I love and will never want to sell, when those take a massive dump, I will load up as much as I can.
But when your penny stock goes in half, you're not buying the dip.
No, when Groupon goes down 10 cents, I'm not buying that. I'm not buying that dip. Or when
collecting, go to the cage.
Or when I'm shorting something, I'm never averaging up. Hell no.
JCPenney takes a huge turnaround, hits $12 by the end of the year.
Yeah. Dude, it did jump up Sears jumped up a lot today. 12%.
I read an article that said someone's like watching JCPenney and their management and the way they're like doing things now is different. But I was like,
I heard. I mean, they're changing. They are changing. Retail might be. It might. It's hard, dude. It's hard. Retail's hard. That might be a dip you want to buy. That might not be a dip you want to buy. It's hard though.
Just load it up.
But I mean, like Macy's has a great dividend.
Had a 100-year JCPenney bond.
Oh yeah, JCPenney bonds. Yeah, they sold like 100-year bonds.
What? That's insane. Like, how much? What if JCPenney goes bankrupt? They pay those people first, right?
Yeah, I mean, you're the bondholder. You're entitled to the first bit of your money back, but you're not going to get all of it. Like if you have a $100,000 bond, it might get like 61 cents on the dollar, so you might get like 61,000 back. Yeah. You're not going to get all of it back. You will get something though. They will go through bankruptcy court, and the bondholders, after everything goes, they're the absolute first people to get the shit. Stockholders are the last. So if your company goes bankrupt and you're a stockholder, you're not getting any money. Your board of directors fucked you, and you're done.
Are you ever going to buy some bonds?
I'm not there yet.
How much do bonds cost?
Anywhere between $500 and $100,000.
Oh, even like T-bills and stuff.
Yeah, I mean you can get like $50 treasuries, but I wouldn't trade treasuries.
I don't want to trade treasuries. No.
Oh. I mean, bond trading is the most lucrative trading.
What? People trade? I never knew that was an actual thing.
Oh yeah, bonds change in value. Okay, for example, here's a perfect one.
I just figured people just wrote it and then bought in at the right time.
Yeah, well, but while they're holding it in the secondary market, they can sell it. So what if while you're holding that bond, Ford says, "Hey, we're not making a lot of money." You're like, "Well, I want the fuck out of my bond then." So your $100,000 bond, you might sell it for $85,000. That way you can just get the hell out of it.
Huh.
So they will sell them at a premium or discount. Yeah. Now sometimes, let's say they start to call back some of their bonds, and they release new ones, and you're getting 7%, and they release new ones at 3%. You can now sell your bond for a premium because you're getting a higher interest rate. So you might be able to sell your $100,000 bond for $120,000. So people don't necessarily buy. I mean, I guess that's hard to say. Bond traders don't sit at home and trade. Bond traders work for Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley. They're big boys. People don't sit at home trading bonds. They don't have that kind of money because
we should do it, man.
Yeah, they use disgusting amounts of money. Bonds are very interesting. They, they say the bond market is the smartest market.
It's the most secure
because it's the most secure, but it's also because it is primarily played by institutional investors. Like people who have retirement portfolios, they don't know how to go in to a bond desk and pick out bonds. The coupon and par value and APR, they don't get all that stuff. So they just pay somebody else to buy the bonds for them. Berkshire Hathaway has one bond trader. They have like a corporate office with like 12 people. It's disgusting.
Who's there?
Warren, Charlie Munger. And I know his bond trader's there. Yeah, who looks like pure death.
Yeah.
Bitcoin is right for it. Bitcoin. No phonograph here. They'll be dancing with colored people and smoking the reefer.
I wish I watched more of that.
What are you watching this week?
What am I watching this week? I'm watching. We actually talked about it today. I'm watching Bitcoin, motherfucker.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, ticker symbol BTC.
I like it. It technically is and isn't a ticker symbol, so I'll take it.
Yeah, that's the call sign, I guess. USD.
I will take it.
USD BTC, since it's sort of like an exchange. That's what it is. I'm watching it. Sorry.
No, you go on.
I am watching it for the long term. I think I'm gonna just slowly start just putting little bits of my.
Long term, how long?
Oh shit! Like fucking 10, 20 years maybe. Just hang on to
it.
Just hang on.
Wow. Personally,
because like you said, if it goes to the moon, then we're going to the moon. Then
we're going to the moon. And if you lose $500, are you okay? You're gonna be able to eat tomorrow?
Yes.
All right. That's all I'm worried about. You'll be able to eat tomorrow. Then you're good.
Would you feed me if I lost all my money in Bitcoin?
Absolutely, bro. Just pack up the car, drive over. I'll take care of you. We'll get you set up. We'll get you set up with some bonds.
Thanks, man.
Some
munis.
Some munis, some buck and T-bills. Get you a nice 0.85%. I am watching the Ford, and here's why.
You can see my face right now. I'm
did,
like rolling my eyes. Like, are you fucking kidding me?
I know. But look at her move today.
I'm not looking at
Somebody or some people, if you pull up her chart, there was a sharp drop down, literally 2% from the morning. And a sharp drop down is sold off until about 10:30, 10:40.
I did see this today.
And then it just went sideways all day. So somebody was accumulating. Somebody was using this price, $11, to enter their position. That's what I'm thinking. I think there's some institutional buying putting in at that bottom. I mean, it's hard to tell off of a day. So, yeah, I like Ford. She looks good on a chart. I think there was some institutional buying there today. It's hard to tell off of that one day. It's hard to get a good grasp. You can't. I mean, longer term trends give you better answers, but I don't know. It's just like Matthew McConaughey in Wolf of Wall Street. You don't know if the stock's going up, down, sideways, or in fucking circles. So nobody really knows. Remember, charts are always looking backwards. They're like the footprints up to the scene of the crime, is the way Mr. Peasley always puts it.
Shout out.
Shout out. We got to put them in the show notes now. I always do. I love them that much. But yeah, it's a perfect way to put it. It's walking. It's okay. What happened during this? Why there was buying and selling on the chart. Now figuring out why or who and what, it's a different ball game. The chart is this is what happened. This is the evidence. This is what it was. So anyway. Oh, dude. Real quick before we wrap it up, there was a point I wanted to bring up. Did you hear Goldman Sachs is blaming retail traders for the volatility over the past few months?
What do you mean retail traders?
Like people who sit at home. They say it's over 35% of traders, and if you include mutual fund holders, then they say it's 50%. That the retail population owns 50% of the stock market, and I think that's horse shit. Do you believe that? You think the American public actually owns all these shares, or do you think like 10 banks do? Not really, but I mean,
what if if it is a mass group of retail buyers?
Yeah, but we don't have enough money as retail buyers to move markets like they do. They can enter 10,000, 100,000 share blocks at one time. We can't. We can't afford that. We can move 100, and that might move a stock a penny on a low volume stock, but they can literally sell off tons of shares just to drive the stock price down.
Well, maybe that's the thing that he's talking about, is that her mentality follows institutional movers like that, and then turns.
It's possible, but Like how? But I mean, just blaming retail investors for volatility, just that statement alone.
That's ignorant.
That's so ignorant. But I guess I don't know.
Is it?
Think of the tech bubble, 2000. I really don't know too much about it. The thing I know is that anytime anything with .com came out as an IPO, it shot up that day, hundreds of percents. Everything just went up. If it said .com IPO, up. And at the same time, E-Trade had just come out for the first time. So stock market was accessible at the click of a button for the very first time ever. And those two combinations caused a little investment bubble because, a lot of inexperienced people were doing this shit, and it all came crashing down, and people lost all their money. Like when it came to earnings and like money and value and cash flows and expansion, these .com things, they couldn't do it, so they folded, and lots of people lost their money. So I guess that could be something that like could maybe back their statement. I feel like that was a ballsy.
Saying that, trying to tank the market or something like that, and then just fucking dumping money into fucking Bitcoin.
Well, actually, Goldman Sachs is setting up a trading desk for cryptos, and I think the reason that would be is because Goldman Sachs caters to many hedge funds and institutional investors. I'm sure they even have some of their own private hedge funds that accredited investors can invest in.
Front points.
But exactly. Front points of the Morgan Stanley under the umbrella. Anyway, I feel like those clients there's been a demand. They said, we want cryptocurrencies, and if you can't offer it, we're gonna have to take all this money somewhere else. So I think Goldman Sachs is finally getting on that train, and no other bank out there is. So if cryptocurrency continues to take off and stay on its trend, Goldman Sachs will be the first bank there, and that's not good for the world.
It's good for the cryptocurrency.
It's good for cryptocurrency. It's not good for the world. Oh man, Goldman Sachs already controls the world, but that's a whole different podcast. We could literally do a Goldman Sachs episode. I'm writing it down. I think so. Yeah, so I thought that was a little interesting, the stuff about Goldman Sachs there, both their setting up of the trading desk for cryptocurrencies. I feel like when that happens and hedge funds can now allocate money into cryptos, that might be able to spark some interest in the crypto field. Hopefully it will push some prices up. If Goldman Sachs is making it easier to put money into crypto, that's a good thing, period. No matter who you are. So, I'm long Bitcoin. The more I talk about Bitcoin and the more I think about it, the more I want to buy it. But when it actually comes to looking at the fucking screen, I cannot do it.
Do it. Pull the trigger.
Pull the trigger!
Let's do it. Let's go in. Life savings. Let's do cash position on Robinhood and put it all into Bitcoin right now. Half in Bitcoin, half into Ethereum.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Anyway, man, I think that's an episode.
Yeah.
Fun. Buying the dip.
I love you.
I love you, man. I had fun. Yeah. I'm tired these days. Yeah, busy as shit. Tired. Where can they email us?
You guys can reach us at rebeltradinggroup@gmail.com. That's rebeltradinggroup with 2 G's at gmail.com. Go ahead.
And that's for any questions, comments, concerns, suggestions, or insults.
Or funny pictures.
Oh, yeah. If you just want to send us a good meme.
I like good memes.
Memes?
Memes, yeah.
We should start making some stock market memes. I think people might like that.
I could probably do some, what's that name?
Like scumbag Warren Buffett memes? That'd be funny.
Scumbag. Who's that pyramid scheme guy? Bernie Madoff?
Bernie Madoff
memes. That's something to do. No one will know who that is, though. That's like not funny. No. There's got to be like an investing memes Reddit or something.
Only people who have culture. Only people have culture.
Uncultured swine.
Anyway, bro, I had a good time. Always a pleasure. Yeah. We will see you. We called our guests fuckers. gonna say you see
fine people. We'll see you
fine people on Friday. Is it Wednesday yet?
Is it Wednesday?
Oh wait. Later.